Hey guys, you've joined us live at Moneycontrol. I'm Manisha Gupta, and it has been an all-time high for gold prices yet again. Well, the last week was a great one. We saw more than 4% of gains come in for the gold prices. This actually has been the best weekly gain since mid of October. And the kind of targets that were put out for gold for the second half of this year is something that the gold has achieved already in the first two and a half months of this year itself. So $2,200 per ounce, and almost there is how we are trading. From here on, what is the scenario looking like? What are the global central banks doing, investors and ETFs? Let's understand all of those trends from Harshal Barot of Metal Focus. Harshal, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And it has been some run that we've seen in gold prices. I'm sure it's surprising everybody around. But how much would you say is this factoring in a rate cut in the month of June already?
So I think, Manisha, to a lot of extent, this is actually markets factoring in that rate cuts are going to start in June. So, over the past couple of years, there have been instances where the market was way more optimistic than the Fed, and that saw gold prices correcting. But now what has happened over the last few weeks is that there is data that shows that the US economy is softening, the labor markets are softening, and inflation is not rising as many were fearing. So I think that has given confidence to investors, to buy gold again. And the fact that rate cuts now will most probably start in June, the confidence about that has been definitely cemented over the past 2 weeks. And with markets breaking past, key technical and psychological levels, we've seen the rally extend as we've seen last week. So in the short term, while definitely we believe that there is a lot of speculative and algorithmic buying that has led to the last $120 rally that we've seen in gold. But in the short term, there are no immediate signs of reversal that we see in this. So I think we'll wait for more macro data to, take a call whether gold prices are going to take a resistance at 2,200 or they're going to go further from here.
All right. Harshal, interestingly, as you said, you don't see a big reversal come in for this one. But every time we see an asset class run up as much as gold is done, some resistance, yes, and a slight profit taking for people who couldn't buy it. Do you think they'll get a chance from here on?
So, as I said, over the last couple of weeks, what we've seen is that short positions have been very heavily squeezed. For the data that we have from the CFTC until the 5th of March, that is the week prior to this, we've seen shorts decline by 25%, and the net managed money longs have nearly doubled in that week. So in that sense, yes, given that all the shorts have been taken out so aggressively over the past couple of weeks, there will be reluctance to go short at these levels for any investor. So that will prevent, an outright reversal in the immediate term. But as you said, there could be instances of profit taking. For example, if the inflation data that we have due this week from the US, if we see any signs of hardening like we saw in January, that could definitely, give that kind of opportunity for investors to get back in. But all said and done, $2,000 on the downside looks as a very strong support to the prices.
Okay, so $2,000 an ounce is a strong support. 2,200 is where we are trading already, and further higher highs is what we are anticipating. Let's talk about the Indian markets now, Harshal. And 66,000 rupees per 10 grams is where we are trading right now. We've seen prices higher than this as well. It has been an all-time high for the Indian markets, even as the rupee is appreciating. So there clearly is a lot of support. But on ground, are too many people buying at these kind of gains?
Not really, Manisha. In fact, over the last week or so, for what we've spoken to our contacts in the industry, buying has sort of come to a standstill in India. So jewelry demand definitely has taken a big hit with prices. And this is typically the behavior of consumers. I think whenever there is, huge price spike, people tend to wait and see if the prices are stabilizing or coming down again before they decide to buy again. So if they eventually believe that prices are not going to come down, people will start buying again. But at the moment, not just in India, even in the Middle East, we have reports that, buying has definitely been negatively impacted by the price.
Oh, absolutely. Harshal, I was talking to some of the industry representatives, and they said the buying is really declined 30 to 40% of what it usually is around this time. So how is the year 2024, the first quarter of this calendar year, looking to you when it comes to Indian physical buying?
So first quarter, if we speak about Jan to March, Jan, Feb were normally very normal quarters because we had a period where the gold prices were stable to slightly weaker in the first 2 months. It's only by the end of February that they started rallying. So if I talk about the overall quarter, yes, March is going to take a big hit as far as demand is concerned. But if you take the average for the full quarter, then we might be, flat to slightly lower compared to last year is what the indication that we are getting as of now. But given that, Akshaya Tritiya is also upcoming, there is wedding season also in India. It will be very interesting to see that, if the buying does pick up in the next couple of weeks' time.
It's, another report that I was reading, Harshal, suggested that when it comes to the jewelry sector as a whole, FY24 could be a 7 to 8% of a gain for the sector. I mean, the way this quarter is turning up, especially the month of March, do you think those figures standing up?
So, Manisha, it depends. I mean, how you take the figures. I mean, if you take value-wise sales, of course, with the gold prices rising, value-wise sales might be higher. The estimates might also be higher. But purely in terms of volume, there will be a hit to sales because what we've seen over the last couple of years is that with the gold price increasing, a lot of fabricators, jewelers, they've increasingly started pushing lighter weight products. More of 18 karat, 14 karat jewelry as well. So while that provides higher margins to the jewelers and, the top lines look good, but in terms of absolute amount of gold consumed in the jewelry, that definitely comes down.
Harshal, if I wanted to buy gold today, what would you advise me?
Manisha, I'm not allowed to give that kind of advice publicly, but I would say, this rally definitely seems overstretched. So it is due for a correction. When is $1 million question, but definitely there are elements of this rally which I think nobody really understands what is happening, the kind of steep price gains that we've seen in the past couple of weeks. So expect a lot of volatility ahead, and there is definitely a scope of prices to come down.
All right, so hold your horses. You haven't really missed the bus. Don't get FOMO'd in, and the prices will see some correction at some point in time. So if you are an investor, there is going to be a probability that we will see lower prices from here to buy in. Right, Harshal?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much as always for joining in with your sense on where the gold prices are going and of course where the Indian markets are headed. So well, yes, all-time highs for gold, but there is some correction that could be coming in, and that perhaps is going to be your opportunity to start accumulating.